Hey family, welcome to part 3 of my testimony. I sure appreciate you watching and rocking out with me for this long. I pray that you're getting value out of this message and that it's helping you realize that you're not alone and that, you too have the power to overcome. So, we're here at part 3 and we are coming to the end of what it is that Yah is really doing and how he's brought me through and what he's continuing to do in my life. And I pray that encourages you to press forward and to trust our Elohim, because with him all things are possible. All right, family, so let's continue. All right, so it was COVID. AA left. And I was disappointed, but I was also relieved. I was at a place in my life where I just wanted to expand. I wanted to grow. I wanted to be everything I was created to be. When you're dealing with an individual in your life who has suffered loss, who has, who wasn't where they wanted to be, that can take away from you or the individual who is coming into the place they want to be, if that makes sense. So if the intensity to get to that place is not the same, it begins to be a battle or a challenge. I was just at a place in my life. I was like, you know what? It was 2020. So it was a new decade. And I said, you know what? My whole life, I have bent, I have given into, I have, been plagued with, demons. I've been, in pain. I was just running through all the stuff that I've been through. I said, this is a new decade. I said, we ain't going to do what we was doing last decade or the decade before that. This decade, this is a new decade. It's like I went into 2020 like, yo, we changing the game up. Like, I'm not trying to be the same. I'm not trying to do the same stuff. I'm not trying to be around the same types of people. Like, I was ready to expand. And this was just so interesting. And I was a Lyft driver. And in my car, honey, there was breakthrough taking place, prayers. I mean, I prevented, a young lady has said to me, she was like, if I had not met you, I was going to commit suicide. I mean, we went in my car. Like, that was an anointed place. Lyft, I didn't use that as, it was just rideshare. No, Lyft for me was ministry. And I got a lot of practice in Lyft. But I remember saying that, one of my resolutions for 2020, I remember it. I said, I want to connect with people from the African continent. I said, I want to go beyond America. I saw what it was here. I saw the superficial behavior. Because I started just like watching other, things and learning about other places and, things like that. I always knew I wanted to be an international person, like just through ministry, because I knew I wanted to expand this ministry. And I said, my vision was to be international. It wasn't to just be local. It wasn't to just be in my state. It wasn't to just be in the country. It was my objective to be international. That was always my thing. I was never a local type of person. Like, Even I remember when I was in high school and things like that, and I was dating people. I didn't date locals. I always went outside. You know what I mean? I was just that type of person. I never really dated guys that were my culture, that were Black American, if you will. It was always a Jamaican or a Trini or something that wasn't American. I always wanted to go outside of what, outside of the norm, if you will. It was adventure outside of the norm. I was the type of person, I was adventurous. I want to know what else is out there. I know it can't only be this. What else? Right? So, I remember making that resolution, and I remember, back in like the beginning of 2020, it was January, I was meeting people from Senegal. I was meeting people from Ghana, and I was like, oh, this is dope. You know what I mean? Like, I'm meeting, new people, and we're having conversations, in the lift or whatever, having conversations and just getting insight about what it is over there and how their experience was. Because, we can't shape life over just our own experience. Like, we have been showed things that are contrary to, the truth. And I'm like, what's it like really? Because I know what they show us, but what's it really like? You know what I mean? And I really just wanted to know more about more, I was just ready to do more. And, I remember, AA came to me because I was praying. I said, Father, we entering a new decade. And I'm like, I know where you're trying to take me. Because I used to work on this all the time. Like when I was driving Lyft, in every break I took, I would do some work on the ministry. I was like, I'm going to do this. Do you see what I'm saying? I want to impact. I want to touch. I want to move people. I want to bring people to the Most High. I wanted to be an impact player in this world. I was listening to nothing but personal development, for one. Like, I was healing. I was reprogramming this faulty program that I was given. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm constantly listening to Jim Rohn. I'm constantly listening to Eric Thomas. I'm constantly listening to Billy Alsbrooks. That's another one of my favorites. I'm just constantly listening to them and just listening to them. And, Evan Carmichael, I don't know if you ever heard of Evan Carmichael. He's on YouTube. He had, a channel of various, individuals to listen to. I'm constantly listening to Goldcast videos. Like, I'm working to reprogram this mind. I'm reprogramming what has been put in there. I'm uprooting the stuff that was in there. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also listening to Pastor Darby. I'm also listening to Priest Isak. I'm also listening to Truth Unedited. So I'm building myself spiritually and mentally. Like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm uprooting all that stuff and all that gunk that was in me and just reprogramming myself, right? Bob Proctor, that's another one I was listening to often. And I just wanted to be new. I wanted to be changed. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be elite at what I did. I wanted to be the best. It was so much deeper than, anyone else. I said, Father, I have to be everything you created me to be. It just went beyond, being average. I said, I need to reach the pinnacle of what it is you want me to be. I don't want to leave nothing on the table. If that means me making mistakes, if that means, people getting on me about having to do stuff over and over again, I don't care. Like, I'm not leaving nothing on the table. Everything you have for me, I want it. And I remember that being my mindset. And, honestly, like a few days later, AA came to me and he said, I can't do this no more. And he was like, I'm going to move out. And I was like, what? It was a shock. I was not expecting that. But then I remember I prayed and I said, Father, whatever is going to keep me from getting to that place, please remove those things. And that's what he did. And that's what he was doing. And, you know, I was like in shock because I'm like, yo, that's crazy. I'm getting left again. You know what I mean? I'm getting the poop again. You know, come on. I'm like, okay, this happened with the first one when the first one was, you know, on some, you know, so now I'm getting left again. It wasn't for another woman, you know, thank goodness. But, you know, it was still a hit. You know, it hit me for a minute like, yo, I'm not good enough. Like, nobody wants to be with me. What's wrong with me? You know, and then I snapped out of that. And I said, no, it's Father moving in the way he needs things to be moved, right? He's creating the environment for my success. And if certain things were not removed from the environment, he couldn't get me to the next place. He couldn't bring me to the places I requested him he take me. So I began to understand this, and I became empowered. So I'm like, okay, if that's what you got to do, you know, I support you. You know, let them know that I'll always love you. But if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. I can't force somebody to want to be better. If you want to stay in a quagmire of mediocrity, honey, that is the choice that you are going to make. But I'm not going to stay there with you. You know, I can't be in the swamp because you want to be in the swamp. I'm ready to elevate. I'm ready to grow. So, you know, he moves out and things collapse. Here we go again. I built myself, you know, built back up, and now it was a collapse again, right? My car got repossessed, and I had to make some shifts. I couldn't get my daughter to school anymore because she was way on the other side of town. So I had to drive her like 15 minutes to her program every day. So we couldn't do that no more. And, you know, this is before COVID. Like, this is because COVID really hit like, I would say March of 2020. This was like the beginning of February 2020. I remember actually going over to see AA, to see a spot, make sure he was good. February 15th, actually, of 2020, my car got repossessed the next day. So my car got repossessed February 16th, 2020. Look, I remember these dates. And, you know, I was like, all right, bet. I was like, okay, I can't drive anymore because remember, I was doing Lyft. So driving was my livelihood. My car got repossessed. So, you know, because it was just too much. The income wasn't keeping up with certain things or whatever the case may be. And, you know, it was way more on me than I could take. He was like, well, I'm paying half the rent. So, you know what I mean? It was just like, so you got to handle the rest. And it wasn't enough to substantiate. So, you know, some things went unpaid. And he had to have his cable. So, you know, some things went unpaid. And I had bit off more than I could chew. I did. I can't front. So, you know, I had to take that L. And, you know, so I was like, all right, bet. What are we going to do? So I rearranged the place. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make this a school. I said, I'm going to make this a school. I'm going to take in a couple of kids and I'm going to watch a few kids, you know, just to, you know, get a little income or whatever the case may be. So I set that up. I was like, you know what? I'll have this set up in 2 weeks. I'll be able to launch this March 1st or so. So I, you know, went on to, you know, get things arranged. I rearranged the house. You know, me and baby girl, we having a good, you know, we have a good time. You know, we make the best out of things. You know, we got to walk. Luckily where I live, it's, you know, right there. I'm like right across the street from all the stores and stuff like that. So I was able to still get the things I needed. I was able to go to the grocery store. I was still able to do what I needed to do. So, you know, I just said, you know, when everything that happens in my life, I'm going to embrace it. I'm no longer going to complain. I'm no longer going to say, why me? I'm just going to embrace it and make the best of it. And, you know, so I was like, all right, I'll just make this into a school. I'm going to set it up like that so that, you know, I can take in, you know, a few kids and, you know, try and make income that way. And, you know, lo and behold, we're moving forward and we get things set up. And, I'm about to, launch everything. I make my flyers and everything. I'm going to put them up. And I kid you not, like a week later, COVID hits. I'm like, what in the world? Like a week later, it hits. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? So it's almost like I was prepared to prepare. So I literally had everything that I needed to stay home with my daughter and with the children. And because even when the boys came, I had everything I needed to, and I mention my daughter a lot because my daughter lives with me full time. My boys, they live with their dad. So they come, back and forth. I had my reasons for doing that with them being with their dad. I didn't have a, man in the house, and I just believe that young men need to be around men. And their father is someone who wants to be in their life. That's one thing I could say. Their father wants to be in their life. Their father wants to be involved. So, it just, it just was the best, for the situation. You know what I mean? Just for what it was. They have the space. And sometimes you got to make decisions, not for yourself, not for your pride, not for your benefit, but for the benefit of the children. And I knew that them being with him would be the best for them at this moment in time, right? It would be the best for them. So, that I'm thankful that, we work together. We do. We work together. We've had our differences when it came to our relationship, but when it comes to us and our parenting and our children and things like that, we're very serious about that and we're very on it. And we maintain a relationship, a good relationship, when it comes to handling our business. And I strongly encourage anyone who has, children with someone, y'all need to get on and giddy up with the person you had your children with, your children, your child, whatever. We are not living in times where that type of foolishness could fly anymore. It never was able to fly, but especially nowadays, we need to forgive. We need to get ourselves in order, and we need to make sure we're doing what's best for our children, because so often we are stuck in our feelings, and we can't be stuck in our feelings and feeling some type of way because something was done. All right, that was done, and we can't change what was done. All we can do is move forward, but we need to make sure that we maintain the proper relationships that benefit our children. We got to understand, when we have children, it's no longer about ourselves. When you have children, it's no longer about you. And I think that people miss that part. It ain't about you and your feelings, boo. It's about the children. So I could have wanted to get mad, which I didn't know, but, stomp around and be mad at it. For what? My children are looking at me. How is my mother going to maintain this? I don't want my son saying, I don't want to be a black woman don't want to be with a black woman because of the way my mama acted. No, I want them to say, you know what? My mom was a bomb, yo. I don't know what y'all was dealing with y'all's mama, but my mama, my mama was a queen. She upheld things. She walked with confidence and power. My mama, that's what I always want my sons to say about me. Do you know how often there are our young brothers saying, I don't want to be with a black woman because of the way my mother acted? Do you know what a shame that is? I don't ever want that to be the case. So you got to think about stuff, man. Y'all got to think about stuff before you do it, and stop being so emotional and just, letting stuff just, you just acting, but I'm going to get back to my point, which was, we set the house up, whatever. I was prepared for what was to hit. And, I was like, you know what? Hey, we're going to make this thing jump regardless. Right. So I said, okay, I need to put my focus, I guess, more into ministry. I was seeing that, it was challenging for me to have kids up in my house, for one, especially with all that going around, you not knowing what's going on, parents being skeptical about you being skeptical about other folks. So that wasn't something, and I could have went forward with it, but I just wasn't moved to do so. So I, was looking into other business. I was looking into online business because I said, we got to do something. So I was looking into online business, And, I was presented with a few opportunities, and there's one that I took, and one I started to participate in, and, it, it was international. So, at this time I was starting to get a lot of international contacts. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Cause, I said I wanted to expand. So I'm like, all right, bet. So this is opening me up to other people and, other things. So, I'm good with it. So, Facebook, I'm on Facebook because Father had told me to update my Facebook profile. I know that I wanted, even with the ministry, I wanted to really go forward with that. I had made a video on YouTube, and it's still there, actually, if you want to see it. It was the first video I've ever done, like ever in life. And that's the first video I've ever done. So I was on YouTube, and Father's like, no, I want you to, because at this point, I'm just asking him every move. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And what he said to me was very specific. He's like, I want you to get your Facebook profile in order. I was a person who was never on social media like that. I was never on social media like that. Like, if I was on there, I may be on there like a month, maybe two, then I hop off for like 8 months. Like, I was just never one of those people that was on social media. It just wasn't my thing. Like, it just wasn't my thing. It just really wasn't. It seemed like it was people bragging, and it just was never my thing. You know what I mean? But Father said, get your Facebook profile together. So that's what I did. Started getting messages from people internationally, and from the continent of Africa, right? And, I'm the type, I'm gonna scroll through your page. I'm gonna see what you got going on. Who is you and what is you doing, right? And cause I'm a very much a quality over quantity type of person. There's people that got like over 4,000 friends, but it's like, some folks just be accepting any old body. I'm not that type of person, right? It ain't that deep. So, I'm scrolling through, and making this decision like, hey, is this someone that I want to stay connected with and want to stay in touch with? So, there's quite a few people. I'm looking through their profiles like, nah. And then I come across this one profile. It was no, he actually sent me a message. And, I scroll through, and I see it's ministry. It's nothing but ministry on his page. Just nothing but, empowering words and, things like that. And I mean, this is going back for years. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. He had some good stuff too. Like some of the things that were written out. I was like, okay, I can use some of that. You know what I mean? I'm getting permission, see if I can, kind of use some of that for some inspiration for my videos and things like that. So I was like, you know what? This could be a good connect. You know what I mean? I saw he was in, he was of African descent, but his page said he was living elsewhere. So I was like, all right, he seems cultured. You know what I mean? Like I look at stuff like that, and so he has sent like, hey, how are you? Something like that, and I replied. It was like a couple of days later. And I was like, hey, how are you? Or whatever the case may be. And, I kind of just leave it alone. Now, I remember it was a Friday night. I was fasting and I was praying. Because, I just wanted to hear from y'all. That was like my big focus at this point. I'm like, yo, I just want to connect with you. We in the middle of a pandemic, Lord have mercy. And, this is all new. Like, this is crazy. Like, what do you want me to do? How do you want to lead me? What do you want to happen? What is this? Guide me, because I don't know what to do. Right. So I was fasting and praying, and I watch YouTube, but it's like, I'm a student of YouTube University. Right. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I'm scrolling, through the suggestions, and, I come across this sister, and, it's interesting. I even wrote her one and to tell her the story. It's interesting because she reminds me of me. Her name was Kashina. And, my name, Katrina. She's Kashina. And, she just even reminds me of myself, like, feature-wise. And I'm like, who is this? That's what grabbed my attention. And, the title of the video is How I Met My Husband, or whatever the case may be, or, something like that. And I was led to watch this. I don't know why, because I wasn't thinking about no man, honey. I'm telling you, I was so over men. I was so over men that I was like, I guess this will just be entertaining. I just wanted to see. It's like she was new to YouTube. I guess I just wanted to see what it was about, right? And she was talking about how she met her husband, and all the challenges she's went through, and all the challenges she went through, and her husband finding her, or and getting with the right man, and all this stuff, and it was very interesting. And essentially, she had met her husband one time when she had went away, and it was sparks, and it was all this stuff, and they ended up getting married and conceiving. Y'all spoke to her, and all this stuff, and that's how she was with her husband. And I was like, okay, that's interesting, nice, So I called a wrap. It was Friday, it was Sabbath, so I was, gonna just rest and, chill out. And the next day, it's Sabbath, Saturday, because from Friday night, so Saturday at this point, and I am, studying the word and praying, and he messages me, the gentleman. He messages me, and I'm like, what in the world? So he messages me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not in the mood for this. I'm like, I'm trying to study. Ain't nobody got time to be dealing with this here. So I forgot. I think I just like let it pass until later. Like I ignored it until, later on. I'm like, I guess I'll hit him up later. I just didn't want to be attached to nothing. I just wanted to be free. I just didn't want to be bothered. I really didn't. And, he had hit me up again. And I was like, okay, this dude is persistent. I'm like, who is this? Like, why is he hitting me up? Like, you know what I mean? So I responded, hey, how are you, or whatever the case may be. And, we start, having a converse, we do the niceties. Hey, how are you? And, whatever. Again, I don't want to be getting too caught up, because I'm like, I've done this before, and I'm just not, I've just been through a lot. I ain't in the mood to be dealing with and entertaining no stuff that I don't want to be entertaining, and I ain't got no time for. So he sends me a message, and he's like, this may sound weird, but God told me you were going to be that you're my wife. I was like, oh, here we go. I'm like, here we go with this crap here. And I'm like, look, I don't know why you hit me up, bruh. Like, I'm like, I've been married and divorced twice, and I got 4 kids. So this ain't what you looking for. This ain't that. You know what I mean? So just go ahead. I ain't got no time. I'm just trying to grow in ministry. I don't have time for that. That's not what I do. And he was like, well, it didn't work with them because you were meant to be with me, and those, and your children are my children too. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I kind of just, let the conversation go, whatever. And then I, pray. And I'm like, Father, please remove any hindrances from my life. I don't want no hindrances in my life. If it is a hindrance, remove it from my life. And I was so serious about that thing. I was like, I've been hindered enough. I have been out of your will and your purpose enough. Get it out of here. I don't want it. All I want is you. That's literally what I said. All I want is you. And, he hits me up the next day. I'm like, here we go. And I find out he's Nigerian and things like that. I was like, pause right there. Pause right there. I know what y'all Nigerians be doing. We ain't going to be getting involved with this computer love stuff. I know y'all jokers be scamming people. I know y'all be I know y'all got that talk game. I'm not, nah. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm not doing that with you, bro. Like, I'm not messing with no, Nigerians. Like, it's, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? Um, but we continue to, we talk, and, certain things that he says, I'm like, you know, I pay attention, but then I'm like, it's some things that people could say that you could prompt them. And then there's some things that people say, it's like, nah, that just came from inside of them. Like, that's just them, and just certain things that he was saying about how he, really, about his love for God. And, he said stuff. He's like, I don't play with my God. He's like, I don't play with my God. I don't play with him. So things like that, that really, and I was like, okay, and then I have remembered his page and things like that. And I saw he was consistent. He was steady. He was consistent. And then what he even started doing the next morning, he sent me a message of encouragement, to my messenger. And, he was doing this every single morning. And I'm like, okay, so, we talk, I tell him, thank you for the message. We continue to talk or whatever the case may be. And he's like, look, listen, he was like, I'm not the type to play around and play games. He's like, if I'm like giving my time to somebody, like, it's because we're preparing for marriage. He's like, I don't do stuff just to do stuff. He's like, I'm very intentional. I was like, well, excuse me. You know what I mean? And, I thought about that. And, so I pray. And I'm like, Father, what is this? I told you to get him up out of here if this ain't something I need to be around. Now you got him sending me, encouraging messages and every day and prayers and stuff. And he would even say stuff like, he would call me his beautiful wife. And I'm like, what in the world is wrong with this joker? My beautiful wife and things like that. I'm like, nah, see, you're not going to be getting me all caught up in the flutter eye and got me like, because you hitting me with these words, you know what I mean? Like, nah, be like, I'm not doing that, and, we talk and, we speak about like children and things like that. Just even the way he talking about rearing the children and encouragement and empowering and growth and to encourage and to correct them in a healthy way, and not to criticize. He's like, I'm used to coming from a place where people criticize their kids. He's like, I just don't ever want to do that. He was like, I'm not married and I haven't been married because I want to make sure that the one I marry is the one that God has me to marry. And he was like, and I know that's you. I'm like, here we go, bro. But, he was like, he's like, I don't play with my God and I don't play with my life. So I was like, okay. So, he asked me like, when I'm with someone, if I'm giving my time, I want to, it's preparing for something. I'm intentional. So I was like, let's fast and pray. So he's like, I'll fast and pray too. And so we fasted and prayed. And I kid you not, Father was like, yeah. I'm like, what? I'm like, I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm like, I don't want to get involved with no man. Men are unstable. I was just like, men got so many issues. And I'm like, I'm in a good place right now. And I don't want nothing messing that up. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, like, come on, like, can I get a break? But I operate in obedience. So, and it's almost like, he's like, this is different this time. So, and I know y'all may be like, oh my gosh, this girl, this woman, she is just all over the place, like men. And, But you got to understand, Yah, he operates in a different way. He knows what moves me, if that makes sense. Like, we all have our thing that moves us, and he knows where he had to get me from and where he had to get me to. And this is just the beautiful thing about Deliverance. He knew where he had to get me from. He knew where he had to get me to. So I can't be mad at him, or we can't judge based on what we believe something should be. Yah only knows how each of his children work. And I know for me, he had to bridge some gaps because I had a lot of deficiencies. Do you see what I'm saying? And he knew how, with me, to bridge those gaps. And he knew I was a practical, hands-on type of person. And I had to learn respect. I had to learn honor. I had to learn loyalty. I had to learn self-respect. I had to learn a lot. And, he knew he knew what he had to show me what not to do. Then he had to show me what to do so that I can come to the place of where I know what to do. Do you see what I'm saying? So we can't ever judge someone's journey, if that makes sense. So, I was skeptical too. I was like, what in the world is this? And why are you doing this to me? Why me? So we move forward. So we begin praying together, fasting, praying, learning more about one another. And, I keep praying, Father, if this is not your will, get it out of here. And with every prayer, it's like it's more strongly angered. I was like, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, how am I going to explain this one? And I even said to myself, I'm like, it just seems like I'm running through, I'm like, this is the third, like, what are you doing? Like, this is making me look crazy, because I keep putting your name to this and it's making me look crazy. Right. So, like, just don't even worry about that. Just keep pressing. So, we're growing, we're learning, we're talking. And I think this is so special because he was so far away, I couldn't access him. Now, could it have gotten messed up with sex? It could have. I'm a very passionate person. He's a very passionate person. So it could have, if he was here and he was accessible, it could have definitely, how do you say it? Sex could have definitely been a factor in the situation. But Father knew what to do. He knew. He was like, I got him so far away, you can't have sex. So how about that? The way that y'all are going to grow and the way y'all are going to fall in love is through this word and through y'all's understanding of one another, right? The sex was off the table, right? And I'm thankful for that. And I thought about that because I said, yo, if he was somewhere I could fly to or whatever the case may be, we would have flew out. We would have, you know what I mean? And we would have shifted the dynamic of this. And we would have taken it from being Yah's will to making it our own. So I was thankful, and it made sense to me because I know me. The D, man. But I know me. And I've overcome a whole lot. But when you are in situations, you know what I mean? So I was thankful for that. So literally we fell in love through this word, yo. And I really can't even, we was in this word. We studied and we prayed and we fasted and we spoke of the spirit and all the things we were going to do and how we were going to serve. And, everything was the word with us. Like, I never had that experience where someone had the zeal for God or the zeal for Yah that I had. I was excited about Yah and he was too. And I've never experienced that before. It was always a battle. It was always I always felt like I had to make a choice. But with him, he enjoyed and really embraced the things of Yah. He had an amazing testimony of what he came out of. And, based on that testimony, he said he could never turn his back on the one who never turned his back on him. So we had a similar situation that just made our love for God so strong. And that really anchored our relationship. Now, we were in this for a minute, we was talking and we was like, all right, we got to get, what are we going to do? Like, we got to meet, praise y'all for video chat. Praise y'all for video chat, because he took me with him where he went and I took him with me where I went. So I got to see his world and he got to see mine, and I think that was awesome as well. It was like, all right, but if this is going to be a thing, we do need to at least meet, you know what I mean? With COVID and all the restrictions, and he was in Nigeria, and with all the restrictions. And then at the time with Trump was not allowing visas to be granted to Nigerians or whatever the case may be. And then all visas were restricted because the world was on lockdown, right? So, it was like, how are we going to do this? And, we just kept speaking like, Yah is going to allow us to meet. Yah is going to make it where we can come together, and, he's going to allow it. And literally we had no means of how this could be done. The government was shut down, like things were shut down. So it was like, we don't know how, we don't know when, but we know that Father is going to make a way for this to happen. And, we just kept speaking it. And that's one thing about my husband. He will manifest. He will speak some stuff he is a speaker. He is a manifester. He will bring it to pass. You know what I mean? Like his words, he knows the power of his words, and he just speaks power over everything. So, I essentially do the same thing. I have unwavering faith. So you got someone who speaks that word, and then someone mixed with faith, and someone that has just unwavering faith. That together is like, woo, you know what I mean? So, I just had unwavering faith. I'm like, Father, I don't know how, I don't know what, but you are the one who told me that this is something that you want me to engage in. You were the one. So I know you're not going to have it where you bring this in and you ain't going to finish. You know what I mean? So, time passes, and, we get blessed with some financial breakthrough. We get blessed financially. So we're able to start, making moves towards seeing one another. And I'm telling you, this is such a big deal. Mind you, I still haven't told my family. Why? Because they don't understand. I know this was beyond their scope of understanding. I think the only one I told was my aunt. I tell Auntie everything. But this was beyond the scope of their understanding. And I wasn't trying to explain myself at the moment, because I had to build my faith in this. So I'm not going to have somebody who's completely faithless, has no communication with the Most High. See, you got to be careful who you communicate with, right? And you got to be careful who you take, who you receive from. So you got folk who don't communicate with the Most High. They don't be praying. They don't be seeking his face and all this stuff. And then you're going to let them tell you and turn you against the thing that y'all put in your spirit. And you're the one who does fast and praying on your face and seeking. So we can't do that type of stuff, family. So I said, no, I'm being careful with this seed. This is a seed. This is a gift. And I got to be careful with this thing. I can't just let any old body get access to this gift. Right. So, I'm planning, and, my husband, he's like, you know what? Do you want to prepare to get married? And I was like, yo, this is crazy, and I had to pray, and we fasted and we prayed, and, Father said he would see us through. He did. So we, make the preparations for what we need to do. And, of course it wasn't going to be nothing big. It was literally going to be just him and I doing our thing, So I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, yo, my other door ain't even really finalized. Like, how we gonna do this? I was thinking, like, how is this gonna make me look? And then I said to myself, who cares how it's gonna make me look? I was like, I did things so I won't look a certain way, and then in the end, I ended up looking a certain way. So I don't give a hoot and a holler what anybody got to say about me. What God has for me is for me. And I don't care what nobody think. You could think I'm a hoe, a weirdo, a person who don't know, disconnected or harlot. I don't care. I know what my God has in store for me. So, we prepare, and I get my dress, and all this, very simple, and that's what made it so beautiful, because it was so simple, and preparing to go overseas for the first time in my entire life. And we go through the process. And I'm telling you, just as I'm telling you, Yah divinely brought this thing together. I'm telling you, just as, we get blessed with this financial breakthrough. That's because I didn't have a passport. I've never left the country before. So just as, we get blessed with this financial breakthrough and we're beginning to make preparations and plans, that's when they're accepting passport applications again. And then they were able to do an expedited passport. That service was shut down for, like, since the pandemic had begun. The day I went to the post office to get my passport is the very day that they started doing the expedited passports again. So I did the expedited passport, of course, and I was like, Father, thank you. That was amazing, and then, with certain things, I had to look into getting a visa and all this stuff. And I was the very last appointment before the Nigerian embassy stopped issuing visas. I will never forget that. And I was having these things, my car check engine light came on, everything, to try to make it seem like I should not go. But I pressed through and I trusted, because I said, Father, you ain't going to bring me this far to not let me finish, right? And, I was able to get the visa. I was able to get everything, everything that was needed for this travel, for this journey, and it was amazing. And I went, and, we met. I flew into Abuja, Nigeria. I flew in. My husband shut the airport down, had a saxophonist, and he proposed to me, and all this wonderful stuff. And it was just absolutely amazing. Everything from the booking of the travel to the flight was amazing. Everything was perfect. You hear me? And I said, wow, Father. And to mind you, this is in the middle of the pandemic, and it was so smooth, and everything was so perfect. And I got to touch the motherland, y'all. Something I've dreamed of my entire life. I got to touch the motherland, and he sent me a man that loves me so much. And it's like his love for me is undeniable. Like, there was no distance. There was no standoff. It's like it's like we've been together for years. It's like it's like we flow, we go, we match, we mesh. And it wasn't even on no lust stuff. And I mean, even, I was dealing with certain situations when I was there, and it was not like, oh, see, none of that. He was like, just heal my wife. Just heal, like, whatever you got to do, whatever has to, whatever process your body got to go through, whatever it is, just heal. Just heal. I'm here for you. I just want to be here for you. I just want to love you and hold you and just be with you. And he's like, I have my whole life. I have my whole life with you. Like things like that, and it's like, Dad, like, what a blessing. We played games, we played chess, had amazing photo shoots, and, we went all around, and, I mean, I had the time of my life. And we faced a couple of challenges when I was there. We faced a couple of challenges, but it's like, we prayed. We prayed. We didn't get upset. We didn't flip out. We didn't start arguing. What did we do? We prayed. We did the thing we knew to do best, because we've overcome so many challenges. And, had the time of my life. Come back, we start working on the process to, get him here. because I can't move to Nigeria, so we go through the process to, work on getting him here. And my gosh, the process is so long and arduous and painstaking. It's ridiculous. And, I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss my husband. Like, this is crazy. I'm like, we're newlyweds and, we can't even be together, whatever the case may be. Y'all said to me, he was like, you're going to go back. You're going to go back. Hallelujah. Now I'm like, Father, how we going to go back? I'm like, this trip is costly. How we going to do that? And he actually had my mother had came down here for my daughter's birthday. And she said to me, she was like, I was looking at the clouds. I was like, what? She was like, I was looking at the clouds. And she said, you know what? I want to go to Nigeria. I want to meet the man you're with. Somebody got to support you, Katrina. So she's like, I want to know who this is. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. So the breakthrough came through her. And in her, the booking and the things like that, it came through her. So that's where it started. And then, other funding came through, and that just allowed us to be able to go. And she celebrated her 60th birthday in Nigeria. And, we had our challenges, Lord have mercy, but, I was there. And, we were together again, and, we conceived. We conceived. We are expecting our baby will be born next month, actually. And but through this process, it expedited and it made the process move through quicker. So, all that time and time was taken off, and he will be here. And I remember Father telling me that I was going to get pregnant before I left. I remember him. He told me, it was very clear. He's like, you're going to get pregnant. And I was like, oh, hold up, wait a minute now. I ain't no spring chicken in this game. You know what I mean? So I'm like, Father, this is going to be the case now. Because now we negotiate. And I'm like, look, Father, now, see if this what you going to do, right? We need this to be with ease. I got stuff to handle. I'm going to be by myself. He going to be there. I'm here. We got to, you got to give a sister a break. You got to cut a sister a break. And he said, your pregnancy will be that of ease. You will have a pregnancy of ease. And I was like, okay, Father, well, whatever you got to do, I trust you. And lo and behold, I got there and yep, conceived. I knew the day it happened. A couple of days later, I felt it. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, right? But yeah, we conceived, and we were having our sweet baby boy. And and yeah, I said he will be there to hold your hand. He'll be there. He'll be there with you and the baby. And I trust that. I believe that, and we just got to trust our Elohim, right? So I'm thankful that I have a support system. I have my sisters around me, and, my sisters from another mother, you know what I mean? I have them around me, and, I'm supported. I praise Yah for it. And my husband, he's so amazing. He speaks words of life over this baby every single day. Every single day, he's just speaking life over him, speaking life over me. My in-laws, I absolutely just adore these people. And that's another thing, your in-laws. You hear so many horror stories of how people can't stand their in-laws and things like that. I have like the most amazing in-laws. I love my husband's parents tremendously. His sisters, his brothers, they're all amazing. They all love me and welcome me and check on me, and, all his boys and his friends, and they call me and they're like, who's the special lady and this and this and this. And I mean, it is really just family. And I mean, it is everything I've ever wanted. It is family. It's not distance. It's just like everyone's tight knit. There's standards, there's morals, there's there's love. It's not greed. It's, his mother speaks life over me and the baby. His dad speaks life over me and the baby. My husband speaks life over me and the baby. And they just speak life over me, period. And, they always ask about my family and how things are going and things like that. So it's just like a whole nother experience and dynamic. But I say all this to say that, y'all, we got to trust. And there are so many, when you are coming from a broken place, you got to go through some stuff. It's like it's like, it's like all over the place, right? But then when you trust, you just got to trust Yah with each step, each step, each step, each step, right? So we serve an amazing God, family. And I really just want to encourage you to never give up. Never give up. Never compare yourself. Never compare your journey. Never just never give up, y'all. We got to trust our Father. He knows what's best. And even if it makes absolutely no sense to us, he knows what's best. He knows what he has to put us through. He knows that sometimes he got to put our back so hard up against the wall that that's the only way we'll move. Do you know I'm doing this testimony because he put my back up against the wall? I've wanted to do this for many years. And he put it in my spirit and he said, you got to share it. And I was like, but he put my back up against the wall where I had to trust him, and, it is through this movement, that these things are happening, y'all. So we really have to, trust y'all with all our heart. We do. He's an amazing, amazing God, and he wants the best for us, but we got to be willing to trust him. We would got to be willing to say, let thy will be done. Not our own will, but let our Father's will be done. He knows who he wants to pair you with. He knows who he wants to connect you with, where he wants to take you. He knows all these things. Let him be God. Man, if that wasn't a word just alone, let God be God. You trying to be God. Let God be God. And I promise you he won't disappoint you. I promise you that. So I pray that helps somebody. Like, comment, subscribe, share, share this story, this testimony, and let people know that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. I have 4 kids and was divorced twice, and I still was located by the love of my life, who opened my world. And not only did he open my world, he opened my mother's world. And then even my mother's friend's daughter went, and do you see what I'm saying? The one step of boldness opened the world of others, y'all. You got to understand how this thing works. Do you know that it is your obedience that can be the catalyst for someone else's life change? Your obedience. Do you see what I'm saying? So we all have a part to play, and we got to stop, having all this fear, because y'all did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. We weren't given the spirit of fear. So what are we scared of? And if we're scared, we got to think about the spirit behind that, because that's not of God. Do you see what I'm saying? And we got to, understand these things, family. So, I'm thankful for everything, and this ministry, in a way, it's going to grow, and the lives that are going to be changed, because, family, I'm here to serve, y'all. Like, I don't know about nobody else, and I don't know what other people doing out there. I see a whole lot of debauchery out there, and I'm just like, Lord, bless their little heart. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not putting my mouth on nobody, because I don't know what Yah is doing and how he's using them. But one thing I know is, as for me, it is my goal to help you break through. It is my goal to help you be delivered. It is my goal to help you move forward, right? It is my goal to help you experience breakthrough. It is my goal to help you understand the deception and the lies and the things that we have been programmed with, for us to rip those roots out, for us to break those chains, so that we can create healthy, godly habits in our life, so we can live that life of power we were created to live. That is my objective. Why? Because I've been through it. I've seen it. I know what it means. I've lived through it. And I'm telling you, I've overcome it. And I'm telling you, once you do, your life will be something that you never knew was possible. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. Yah will blow your mind. Do you see what I'm saying? So, if any way you want to support the ministry, if in any way you want to support the ministry, ways to do that are in the description box below. Help us to get this message out to people. There are people who are hurting. There are people who are suicidal. There are people who are in depression and all these things because they don't know this truth, family, because they haven't heard a testimony, because they don't have someone that's going to come to them real cut and direct. See, I'm not like the churchy people. Do you see what I'm saying? I have nothing against the church, but I just believe there's work that needs to be done, and we got to get to the root cause of these issues, and we got to get down to the level of the people. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and be lying and trying to act like I'm so good and so this and so that. I've been through it too. I keeps it 100. We got to get real so that we can heal. And there needs to be this movement that takes place so that this can get out. Because we got to get real, family. It's too much faking, fronting, and fluffing taking place. And that's why y'all's people are falling by the wayside, because there needs to be a voice that keeps it 100. Y'all, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I did this thing perfect. I didn't. I'm not perfect. But I'm telling you, even in your imperfection, you can be used. Let him use you. Let him clean you up, pick you up, clean you up, turn you around, and use you, family. There is nothing like being used by the Father. It's nothing like being used by the King of Kings. It is nothing like being used by the Alpha and Omega, y'all. Let him use you. But the only way he can use you is if you come to a place of healing. That's the only way. So family, if you want to support in any way, you can. I have the Breaking Barriers, as you see here. And here we got the Breaking Barriers Prayer and Fasting Journal. This is, again, a work of the Holy Spirit. I put my whole heart into this, that you can track your prayer and fasting life. Family, this is so critical when it comes to moving forward in your life. It is through prayer and fasting that things were revealed. It was through prayer and fasting that, breakthroughs came through and manifested, y'all. It is through prayer and fasting. So if you want to support, you can support by giving any amount that you would, whatever that the Spirit leads you to give towards the movement of this ministry. The Prayer and Fasting Journal is definitely available. We even have Klarna available if you want to purchase this. All the information is in the description box. We have our merch, Powered by Prayer. The information is in the description box below, family. But we have resources available to you. And if you want to speak to someone, if you want to, if you're feeling down and, you want to have the opportunity to just talk and, express yourself, or, whatever the case may be, we have 30-minute expression sessions for you to, for us to talk one-on-one. You and I will talk and converse, and we will, navigate through some of the things that are plaguing you, that are burdening your spirit, and we'll navigate how to get through that and release these things with power. Because the objective is not to just complain about it. The objective is to acknowledge it and move forward through it, right? So, I'm here for that as well. The information for that is also in the description box. So, family, I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve, y'all. This ain't about me. And that's real talk. This ain't about me. This is about you. This is about Yah, first and foremost. This is about the kingdom. But this is about you. I want to serve and help you. I want to be there for you. I want to be a voice for you. I want to, help you. So, you can also join us for our Word Warriors, Living Word study every day in my Facebook group. Every single day we get into the Word. So it's a group of us. We're accountable to one another. And, we are moving forward in this truth, because, again, the Word is the truth. The Word says it is, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So every day we get together, and we, get into the Word in truth. We don't candy coated sugar, put powdered sugar on it. No, we get up in this word for real, and we break this thing down, and deliverance is taking place. Generational curses are being broken. Parents are, collaborating more, and there's more understanding, and children are getting understanding. I mean, there's so many wonderful things that are happening. The information for that is also in the description box. So I really love y'all. I do. And I really want the best for each and every one of you. I know this ran long. Man, this ran long. But you know what? Praise y'all. It went out and it must go forth. So I love you, family. I do. If any way you need to contact me, you can contact me below. And in the the next video, which will be popping up here, I give you 10 steps on how to trust God and how to trust Yah when it feels like your life is falling apart. So you definitely want to stick, click on that, hit on that, so that you can, have that truth and that power and what to do and the steps you can take in order to keep trusting Yah when you feel like, to keep trusting Yah, and how to press forward when you feel like your life is falling apart. So that'll be popping up in the, popping up along the side here. So I love you, family. I truly do. And, until next time, the kingdom awaits, y'all. Mwah. Love you. Later. Again, family, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more power-packed videos. If you want to know the 10 tips I personally use to keep trusting Yah and keep pressing forward when it feels like life is falling apart, tap on this video to find out. Until next time, family, the kingdom awaits.